In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Unity terrain tools. So the first thing you need to do is create a new project and then go to Window, Package Manager, and at the top here click on Advanced, Show Preview Packages, and if you scroll down you'll see a terrain package. Where am I looking? Terrain Tools. Then click Install. And this should give you the basic terrain tools, but what I'd like to do is give you an additional package which will give you a lot of different brushes and things to try in your own project. So once that's installed, close the window here. And then you'll need to locate the terrain package which I've prepared for you. Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and just locate that package wherever it is. Install. So once that's done, you just click Import, and now you'll see in your packages that you have the Terrain Tools folder here. So what this means is that you can now go to Window and you'll see that there's an option Terrain Toolbox. And we'll use this window here as it's got various tabs, but for the moment we'll just focus on this Create New Terrain. We'll leave all this on default and we'll click Create, and this will give us the basic terrain that we can work with. So with our terrain in the scene, what we'll do now is we'll just have a little look at the terrain tools that are available. So what you'll need to do is in your hierarchy, which is here, you'll just need to actually click on the terrain in the hierarchy, and you'll see this in the inspector panel. So what we're going to do now is just have a look at the sculpting tools. So if you click on the paintbrush, you'll see a drop down here with various things allowing you to paint the texture, sculpt the texture. What we'll do at the moment is we'll click on this top one, raise or lower terrain. And what that will allow us to do is actually use a brush to change the shape of the terrain panel that we have here. Now, because we've installed the additional package, we have lots of different brushes that we can experiment with. What you'll see is when you select these brushes and you click on the panel, it will actually imprint that and sculpt it like so. Just some quick shortcuts. If you want to change the strength of your brush, you can just hit A, and you'll see that it can get stronger or weaker depending on what you're looking for. If you want to change the size of the brush, you can just click S, move your mouse left and right, and that will change the size. And if you want to invert it, you can click Control, like so. So if we just look at some of the other brushes here, you can see, oh, okay, so that's a little bit too strong. So we'll just use A to reduce the strength even more. But I'll leave this to you to play around with. Another nice feature is if you go back to the drop down, you'll see a Sculpt option, and in here there are some interesting features. One of them is Bridge, which allows you to make bridges for your terrain. And to do that, if you just click, Control click, and then click again, it will actually create a bridge. So that's just Control click, click. So that might be interesting. Another thing that's quite nice is the Terrace option. So again, under Sculpt, Terrace. And if you look down here, you can actually change a lot of the settings. So I encourage you to experiment with this section too. But here you can change a terrace count. So we have like so, and you can create these quite interesting terrace effects as well. So once you have your sculpt, probably the next thing that you'll be looking to do is paint. To do that, if you go back to the drop down up here and click Paint Texture, you'll see you've got the brushes as before, but there's also this section called Settings with Terrain Layers. And what we want to do is actually add some terrain layers. So if you click on that, you click Add Layer, and you'll see there are some options. So for example, you could turn the landscape into sort of a dirt landscape, and you can continue to add layers So if, for example, we wanted to have some snowy mountains, we could select snow, and using the paintbrush tool, just paint snow on top of the mountains. And of course you can play with this, you can try different brushes, you can also change the opacity, the brush size, so but there's a lot that you can do here in terms of the painting. Another thing that you might want to do at some point is actually expand your landscape. So a simple way to do that is to click the add button up here, create neighbor terrains, and what that will allow you to do is actually just click around your current terrain and add sections in, and you can sculpt across layers as well. So if we go back down to raise or lower terrain, you can actually sculpt across all of those at the same time.